Welcome back to the Balance Podcast. I'm your host, Maddie, and here we have raw convos on self-growth, life, and much more. Hello, everybody. Today, as you can see from the title, we are chatting about my healing journey, specifically around my mental health, where I'm at, where I've been, and what I'm currently implementing, and trying to do so in a more natural and holistic way. I want to share this because I want to be honest, open, and just try and connect and help others. First off, I just want to say that I'm not a licensed professional anything. So anything that I share regarding supplements is obviously just what I am doing / using. And I suggest that you do your own research if you do happen to consider choosing any of the supplements that I will be mentioning here today. Also, I would like to note that because I am talking about mental health, anxiety, and depression, these topics can be triggering, so I just want to make that known. And last but not least, if you or a loved one are struggling with mental health, please reach out to a professional and or call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. Okay, all right, without further ado, let's get into it. I'd first like to start by sharing that my mental health journey has been one that I've been trying to navigate since middle school. I won't get into the nitty-gritty of things, but I would just say that middle school and high school were when things were the worst. I never self-harm, but I did have periods back then and also in my early 20s where I sometimes just didn't really see the point of life. And frankly, death seemed better than the reality of the feelings that I was experiencing at the time. And it's sad to have to share that, but I'm just being real with y'all. So, but I'm happy to say that I'm no longer in that place. Being 25 now, I wouldn't say that I'm completely healed by any means, but I feel that I have more of a handle on things and I'm able to have more good days than bad, which is quite the accomplishment, to say the least. Since I was 16, I've been on and off birth control and anti-depressants. And if you don't know, both of these medications obviously affect your hormones and your brain chemistry, which young me didn't fully understand the long-term ramifications or cared or understood when taking these pills. That is not to say that I'm insinuating that antidepressants or birth control are inherently bad. I'm not making any claims. I just personally have my own opinions and beliefs. But at the same time, I was just recently taking an SSRI. So what I'm saying is that you should do your own research on the long-term effects of the things that you are considering putting in your body. Anyways, I just wanted to give that context because these are some of the medications that have been prevalent in my life and in this journey. So, as I've mentioned, I have been on and off these medications for about 10 years now. When I turned 21 was when I was having major realizations and newfound awareness about the truth surrounding the contents of our food, our beauty products, and our pharmaceuticals and the pills that we are deciding to take. And I decided that I wanted to be on a more natural and holistic route of life. So I would say things started going downhill again when I first started coming off of birth control. And with that, obviously, came the reintroduction of my menstrual cycle, the hormones associated with that, and also just my body trying to fight to get back to regular, like my body fighting to regulate. I started experiencing very, very extreme PMS, which I then came to find out eventually 3 years later that it's something called PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is an extreme case of PMS. It's like having PMS symptoms, but not just for a week. No, it's like the whole month, minus maybe 4 days that you actually feel normal in yourself. So, yeah, that was not a pleasant time. And I would say that started becoming more prevalent in my life about 2 years ago. At the start of 2021 was when my mental health was starting to get bad again. And to combat this, I was doing research and found that going back on birth control could help PMDD, which it did. So for maybe about 6 months, I took birth control. I then got off of it when I first moved back here to California, which was, I'd say, July 2022. And then I kind of started falling back into a roller coaster of emotions each day. And it was, about maybe a year ago or so, up to mainly about this last August, I needed to do something, but I vowed to myself that I would never go back on birth control ever again. But I did decide to try a very low dose of an SSRI, which is the technical term of an antidepressant. The one that I was taking was called sertraline, aka Zoloft, and I did that for about 2 months or so. That was the first time that I decided to take an antidepressant since 2019. And if you listen to my episode 7, I mentioned that I barely started taking one and then stopped because I thought that I could heal myself through consuming weed. Yeah. So if you want to know more about that and my addiction to weed, listen to the episode. It's episode 7 on the Balance Podcast. So it's been a while since I had taken any sort of antidepressant. And I'm not going to lie, I had a mini breakdown episode before deciding to take this medication because, I was trying to be on this natural, holistic path of healing. But honestly, sometimes you just need some assistance so you can get back on your feet, can get grounded, and just have some stability before going on this venture of healing more naturally. Because honestly, it's work and it's money. And unfortunately, insurance doesn't cover the cost of natural healing herbs and tinctures. And it's just cheaper to pop a pill from the pharmacy. But that isn't my ideal way of life and healing. And I have always known that even when I did take any sort of pharmaceutical pill, that it was never going to be something permanent for me. And that I was eventually one day going to go and start on this path of healing 100% naturally. And I finally feel that I am at the start of that journey. So now I just want to get into how I've been able to make this happen for me, what coming off of antidepressants has looked like, and how I was able to transition into a more herbal regimen that I am now on, and what this looks like for me on a day-to-day basis. So, I was taking sertraline for about a total of 2 months. I was taking 25 milligrams, which is a very low dose compared to what others normally take. Now, this is an SSRI that is recommended not to just stop cold turkey. And it's also probably one that you shouldn't be consuming mind-altering substances on, like alcohol, weed, and other drugs, and even the natural supplement St. John's wort, which is a natural herb that is known to help assist with anxiety and depression. So I knew that I was going to have to come off of this thing gradually. So for, I believe it was a week and a half, I split my pill. So I was only taking 12.5 milligrams. And then from there, I took half of the half, which then brought it down to 6.25 milligrams. And then from there, I stopped. In doing that, I was able to get off of the medication, wean off of it with no ramifications whatsoever. Now, this is what worked for me. I don't know if this is going to work for you. I think it really depends on how long you've been on your medication and your body's dependency to it, and of course, how much you're taking. And I would highly, highly recommend, as I've mentioned before, to do your own research and also talk to your healthcare provider if you are in a similar situation and if you are also considering getting off of your medication. Now, also, with conjunction of weaning off of the SSRI and taking less and less, I also started implementing some herbal supplements to help assist my body in coming off of this. I first started taking a lemon balm oil, which is good for your nervous system and just calming your stress. I also started taking a vitamin D3 and a B12, which can just help your overall energy and bone health. I also did a magnesium and ashwagandha blend, which magnesium is something that is recommended we all be taking regardless because it just helps us have healthy muscles, bones, nerves and can help with your blood sugar and digestion and just everything. And also, ashwagandha is a natural herb that has chemicals in it that can help calm the brain, reduce swelling, lower blood sugar, and just positively alter the immune system. So, in conjunction with those, I also started taking lion's mane, which is a mushroom, and also just a immunity blend of mushrooms, and then also a probiotic every day. So, all those things have assisted me tremendously in the process of getting off of this SSRI that I was taking. And I still continue to take those, and those just help me regulate my nervous system each day. Now, since completely getting off of the SSRI, I have also added 30 milligrams of CBD, Chasteberry Vitex Agnus Castus, which is not only a jumble of words, but it also primarily supports the menstrual cycle. Also, I added a super beet supplement that has acai, a cereola cherry, cranberry, goji berry, and just other, pomegranate and other powerful antioxidants. And lastly, I started microdosing. I started a microdose protocol of psilocybe cubensis, which is mainly known as psilocybin, or aka magic mushrooms. Now, I know what y'all are thinking, and before you're like, oh, why are you taking mushrooms? Hear me out, okay? Mushrooms have gotten a bad rep, mainly because of the 70s, okay? But there's actually a lot of scientific evidence surrounding psilocybin and the benefits and the healing properties of being able to treat depression, anxiety, and PTSD. And there has been a lot of research and trials done in the past few years that support this. And I first became aware of the healing benefits of mushrooms just a few short years ago, but I have not had my own experience with them until now. I feel like most of the time, mushroom experiences are more recreational and supposed to be like psychoactive and tripping out. But I knew that if I dabbled into this, that it was going to be from a place of helping to heal my mental health. So I would just like to note also that microdosing psilocybin does not usually bring on psychoactive effects or experiences, and I can say that from my personal experience. Primarily, I would say that what you feel is just more present, aware, more in tune with your body, with your environment, and just things that are brought to your consciousness that you need to work through. And it hasn't inhibited my day-to-day responsibilities or made me feel high by any means. The protocol that I am on is 4 days on, 3 days off, and you're taking a 100 milligram capsule. And I plan to do this for a month and then assess kind of where I'm at after that. I'm currently on my second week. I just finished it. And then after that, I plan to try a supplement that I mentioned earlier called St. John's wort. And that is, again, can just help with overall anxiety and depression. I think that I would, after this month, try and microdose maybe once a week each month, just depending on where I'm at and what I feel I need. But I would just like to say that my choices of what I have chosen to consume regarding these supplements and regarding my mental health have all been my own and my own research. There is not someone that I am following or listening to that has recommended all of these things that I have mentioned. It's just a blend of supplements that I have chosen to take and what my intuition has led me to do and what has been working for me. And I share all of this in hopes to just help anyone on a similar journey or path. I would probably like to share with you guys an update in 6 months or so on where I'm at, what's working, what's not, and maybe just share some insights that I will have along the way. Because again, as I mentioned, this is just the start. And my hopes are high, and I'm feeling confident. So, until then, guys.